This is the second video in the series of how to start a indie game studio. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you to watch the first video of budgeting. The reason you have to follow a sequence is because whatever we've discussed in the budgeting, we will be using in this video of making a pitch deck. So I highly recommend you to go and watch that first. I am someone who practices what I preach. So even before I preach about making a pitch deck or like going about how to make a pitch deck, just wanted to tell you guys that there's only one time I got funding because of my pitch deck. I mean, it's not technically only because of my pitch deck, because it's a combination of many other things combined. So I think I probably have a little bit of right to talk about this, because there are certainly a lot of other better people who can talk about making a pitch deck for a video game. But since this is a series of video on how, and I'm just sharing my experiences and what I've been through. I'm just documenting the knowledge that I know, and hopefully it's going to be helpful for a lot of budding indie game devs. So to begin with, there is no right or wrong pitch deck per se. Every VC or a publisher would have their own format, would have their own priorities that they want to see. If you're very new to this, where you don't even know where to get started with, I would highly recommend you to go to Chucklefish's website and download their pitch deck template. I would link this in the description. That's where I started. I just copied those things, and when I was selected for the fourth cohort of STPI, they had a certain set of requirements, as in like what they actually want to see in pitch deck. So you actually have to alter your pitch deck accordingly. Now, once you make a pitch deck, please remember the fact that it's not just like a one thing. Like if you made the pitch deck once, that's not the end of it. Let's say you're making your game and your game is evolving. So I would highly recommend you to like update your game, update your pitch deck as per the game. If you made like more beautiful assets for your pitch deck, go ahead and use that in your pitch deck. Ever since I made my first deck, I have been constantly updating it. It is also that the scenario would also demand you. Once you use a pitch deck and once you keep pitching, you would, it's like a muscle that you train. You pitch once, and the VCs who are sitting in front, or the publishers who are sitting in the front, would actually ask you a lot of questions which you're unaware of. Sometimes you might also don't know how to answer those things. I mean, if you're really lucky, you're really good at presenting things, you might nail a investment or a publisher deal on your first go. But in case that's not happening, understand that it's a continuous process. You keep on improving on the feedback that you've gotten before, to a point where it works. It kind of works. Understand it's also a little bit of luck. Sometimes it's also the product, it's not the pitch deck. Probably you can make it aesthetically really well. In this video, I don't want to talk about what sort of aesthetics that you're supposed to use in the pitch deck. Rather than, what I want to talk about is like the other aspects of it. I'm sure like if you're beginning to make a pitch deck, I think the first thing that you would try to do best is how good it looks. Faces the index of mind, but also people don't judge a book by its cover. It's basically an amalgamation of everything. What sort of a game you're developing, platform matters, pitch deck also matters. It's basically a collection of everything. It's not just on one thing. People are not just betting on what pitch deck are you showcasing, but they're also seeing if what you have claimed in your pitch deck, let's say if a demo is ready, or if something that you have done is like on mobile, because a lot of VCs are interested in mobile, and because it's easier to scale, especially in India. So those things need to be emphasized. The reason why I emphasized in the beginning of watching the first budgeting video, and so that you can use this, is that if you look at this slide, notice that there is this pie chart that determines what kind of budgeting you would be using. This is a very vital information for VCs to understand basically how you are utilizing their money. Are you just taking their money and going on foreign trips, or are you just taking their money and actually using it? So if you just show them a breakdown of how the money is being utilized, that will give the VC more credibility, as in like, this guy knows his stuff, he's prepared. And if you do intricate budgeting, you would have answers to all their questions, as in like how much salaries are you paying. So those details are really helpful for you to actually make a pitch deck. So you would also get a clarity on how much time this takes, because in the budget sheet you would actually budget it out, like how long this project will take, probably 12 months or 8 months. You can derive the timelines from the budgeting sheet. All these are like dots that you connect when you're making a pitch deck. That is also very helpful for you. Before I close, there are a few important things that I think every game developer or a founder of a game studio should be putting in their pitch deck. First one is the time it takes for you to develop this game. Now, depending upon the game, if it's a premium or it's a freemium, or if it's like a, I don't know, whatever sort of a price model that you have, the next thing that you should be aware of is what is the kind of revenue that you are estimating to make out of this. Be realistic with this is what I would tell you. Like, you can just use a simple Excel sheet and calculate. I'll also tell you how you can actually calculate that. I think these are the only two things that I recommend as of now. In the next video, I will tell you how you can create like a calculator to like estimate how much revenue you might make. That way you might have an understanding of how much money you're going to make with your game.